Mike Sierra One can't handle the truth.
You're a cheat and a swindler. That's what you are. How can you do a thing like this?
I am authorized to assure you these rumors are based on hysteria and are absolutely false. I repeat, these rumors are absolutely false.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining me once again as I take another look into the relentless lies of Mike Zero. Here we are with the very first video of 2024, but unlike my videos of the past, this is going to be a little different as I look at recent events that have surrounded Sharmeen Obaid Chinoy and the controversy she has caused with a seemingly flippant comment directed toward men. A vast amount of YouTubers out there have decided to let their feelings be known about what they thought when it came to what she said, but unfortunately they couldn't be more wrong if they tried. It's these kind of video reactions that infuriates me no end. More so when these creators are angered because anger is what sells. But ultimately they don't understand the true context of why they're supposed to be angry because they just cherry-picked or clipped what they needed to be heard. So they can then just react the way they need to, but more importantly, the way subscribers want to see regardless of the real context. There have been a few things said by Chinoy. The truth regarding her filmmaking background, how it's about time a woman helmed a movie within the Star Wars franchise, but I'm not concerned about those. I'm just looking at her comment that came from an interview done in 2015, when she said I like to make men feel uncomfortable.
What is the balance of activating a force for change, but also trying to permeate that patriarchy, that power structure? And is that a part of the calculation of your art as well? And what's been the reaction to that?
Oh, absolutely. I like to make men uncomfortable. I enjoy making men uncomfortable.
I'm sure you do, Sharmeen.
Put a ticket in and make her name it gay!
What's up, all meet you Ewokshibles, droids, and Wookiees? It's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl. In today's video, we are going to be talking about none other than the first female director of a Star Wars movie.
This young lady needs no introduction to many, but for those who don't know who she is, this is Anna, aka that Star Wars girl. I have never really felt the need to address anything Anna comes out with as she invariably takes a story and runs with it. But this time someone has tied her shoelaces together and she is about to make herself look unnecessarily stupid.
Actually, she's an activist, but she actually loves Star Wars. Let's hear her pitch for this.
You know, I'm very thrilled about the project because I think what we are about to create is something very special. And we're in 2024 now, and I think it's about time that we had a woman come forward to shape the story in a galaxy far, far away.
It's finally time for a woman to step forward and tell stories in Star Wars? Bitch, where the fuck have you been?
Now I said I wasn't going to cover the other aspects of some of the things Chinoy has stated, but I think I will when it comes to the kind of reaction Anna just gave that last statement. Chinoy is clearly talking about the first woman to make a directorial debut within the Star Wars franchise. Yes, you had Bryce Howard and Deborah Chow directing, but that was for episodic TV shows and not a motion picture. Had Patty Jenkins gone ahead and done Rogue Squadron, she would have been the first to direct a movie for the big screen. Chinoy would have only been added to the list of female directors to direct a Star Wars movie, so more than likely wouldn't have said what she said. And just to drive the point home in regards to directors for Star Wars movies, we have George Lucas, Irvin Kershner, Richard Marquand, J.J. Abrams, Rian Johnson, Gareth Edwards and Ron Howard. And if you wanted to, you could also add Dave Filoni for directing The Clone Wars, although technically it wasn't a movie made for the big screen. Anna then goes on to state, and rightly so, that Chinoy isn't the first woman to be involved with Star Wars. There have been many, but Chinoy was speaking in regards to directing, not editing or writing. But to the best of my knowledge, Marcia Lucas, Kiri Hart, Carrie Beck and Lee Brackett, just some of the many women involved with the development of Star Wars, have never performed in directorial roles. Although again, their contributions to the franchise are undeniable. It's just people switching things out to make it sound as though Chinoy is pushing these creatives to one side. But let's get back on track and back to the point of this video.
Well, you don't say, Sharmeen. You don't say. It's almost like you should take a little bit of your own advice and look in the mirror and say, maybe, just maybe, I'm approaching this wrong. the majority of the fan base has always been men. Maybe, I don't know, one, do some fucking goddamn research on this IP.
So I have scrubbed the video a bit to get where I need to be, and it's the point that really made me laugh in regards to doing research. Anna jumped on a sentence that was uttered around the year 2015, and that's the one when Chinoy said, "I want to make men feel uncomfortable." Anna weaponized that out of context comment for her own means of driving a story that doesn't exist. Anna thinks that Chinoy was directing that comment toward men in general, and one could argue that might be the case, until you put that comment back into the original sentence and back into context. Chinoy was talking about her documentary A Girl in the River, The Price of Forgiveness, which was a true story as told by an 18-year-old girl called Saba, who survived being shot and thrown into a river by her own family, namely her father and uncle, after it was made known that she was trying to elope or be with a man she had known for around 4 years, someone her family liked originally and then disapproved of, but she ran off with him anyway. She lived to tell of her harrowing experience. Her comment about making men uncomfortable came from the making of that documentary. She wanted to force change and get men within the Pakistani community to reevaluate their roles in their own society, instead of going along with what is referred to as honor killings, typically carried out by men. Her comment had nothing to do with her making a movie, but people have used it against her, saying that a woman who hates men shouldn't be making a movie that caters predominantly for the demographic she is supposed to detest. All Chinoy was trying to do was highlight flaws within her own society, by means of her documentary, and make men feel uncomfortable when it comes to how women are abused and subject to these horrendous attacks. This can be said for many countries around the world, but Chinoy stood up and addressed this issue, and now a bunch of clever YouTubers know better.
Her agenda is to make men uncomfortable. That is 100% what this woman wants to do with Star Wars and with this upcoming movie, is to make men uncomfortable.
There is something wrong with the way I think, or maybe there is something wrong with the way I am addressing this issue.
Oh, goodness gracious, guys. Just imagine taking a male-dominated franchise that people know and love and handing it over to a woman like this.
I mean, you could argue, since this is a while ago, you could argue that, oh, well, she's changed her opinion. She's looked into herself and changed her opinion. But she hasn't.
No.
If you look at the stuff that she says, she has not.
I finished up this video with clips from Snarky J, Amala Ekpanobi, and lastly Clownfish TV, which are only a small representation of some of the responses out there to a comment made over 8 years ago. There was no caveat to Chinoy's comment, just an audio clip out of its original context, so people like the ones shown can get you angry and frustrated over a comment that has nothing to do with a Star Wars film or the Star Wars franchise as a whole. What it had to do with was the 1,000 women who were murdered in Pakistan each year by male relatives who believe that the victim has dishonored her family, and those are the ones that people know about. You should be ashamed that you set up your recording equipment and piled into a woman who is trying to bring about change in her own country, where a woman can be subjected to such atrocities. So maybe the next time you look in the mirror you might see the face of a young girl looking back at you, that went through something you couldn't even begin to comprehend, because you were more worried about a bloody movie that you won't go and see anyway. You'll just move on to the next cash grab when it comes along, by twisting the truth of the matter to fit the output of your YouTube channel. Saba is now scarred for life, but she makes the most of what she has, and is thankful she is here at all. But all you and many others managed to do was cheapen the work of Chinoy.